Hi guys, my name's Peggy and I am growing a cut flower garden here on my allotment in Kanagawa Prefecture, Japan, which is USDA Zone 9B, just south of Tokyo. Thanks for checking out my channel. Okay, so we are in March, the weather here has turned, hence the sunglasses. It's really bright and very hot today, and that is a massive bee. First massive bee of the season. Wow, he's huge. These kind of bees are called kumabachi, which literally means bear bee because they're so big. Let's see if I can show you them without getting myself stung. Kumabachi are really territorial. You'll see them down a street. You'll maybe see like 4 or 5, and they'll have their own little section of the street and they fight with each other. And interestingly, only the female kumabachi bite. Sting, sorry. The males don't, but you have to get pretty close to them to figure out if it's a male or a female. And I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave him over there on the next allotment's flowers, which do smell beautiful. I understand why he's there. Anyway, back to my garden. So we are into the spring, the weather's heated up, and the garden is starting to fill up. Check this out. I know it still looks like a lot of mud, but there is a lot of stuff in here. We have my sweet pea are in, my ramosa are in, my snapdragon are in, I've got my Didiscus dara from last year, I've got some ponytails, some scabious, I've got my poppy and some stalk, then we've got dahlia and calendula, I've got my gypsophilia in there, I've got cornflower, and then my cosmos are in. So I am down today just to do a little bit of garden maintenance in between planting other things, but I do have a few things that I'm going to put in today, which I've left over there. I'll go get them. Okay, so as well as my garden chores today, I have some things that I want to get in the ground. First, I have my Didiscus lace flower, which is this one, which I am going to put in now. It says I should start it at home in pots, but I've checked it out and it is okay to direct sow, so I'm just going to go ahead and direct sow it in here. Then I have my Chinese forget-me-not, which I'm hoping to use as a filler flower, which is really pretty, and I have started some of this at home, but the germination hasn't been great on it. I think I planted 10 seeds and only 4 of them have germinated, which isn't great. Now obviously different flowers have a different germination percentage. You're not going to get 100% germination all the time, but this was one of the worst ones. But I have decided to direct sow some of it. I only actually need 5 of them according to my plan, and I've got 3 or 4 that have come on at home. But I'm just going to do a little experiment and direct seed some of it as well and see if that does better. So I'm going to put that in. And then I have my aster. So I have my Duchess apricot aster, my what are you, king size apricot, same color, different flower, different kind of petal shape. Then I have my tower chamois, which looks a lot like the other one. Not sure what I was thinking when I ordered my aster. They all seem to be quite similar. And then I have my king size apple blossom. Now again, I've started all of these at home and they are doing well, but my plan was always to have one started at home and then direct seed a second one, again to see which does better and the difference between blooming size in them. I say they're doing okay. These 3, which are my new seeds that I bought this year, are all doing really well. This is the one that I bought last year and I didn't get a great result from because I had it in the wrong place in my garden and it really quickly got shaded out by the plants next to it. So I've learned my lesson from that, and they are getting their whole own row, or quarter row here this year. But this is the older seed and I just wanted to reuse it because you get a lot of seed in the packet, and I really liked this one. But the seeds that I started at home, none of them have germinated, and I tried a second sowing and none of that germinated either. So I'm starting to think that with your China Aster, it's really important to get fresh seed. But I'm going to go ahead and try for a 3rd time and see if I can get any of these to germinate. And if not, then I should have enough of the other seeds that have come on at home to then fill the empty rows if these don't do anything. So that is my plan today, is to do a second seeding of these, a second seeding of my Chinese forget-me-not, and then get my Didiscus in as well. let's go. So the first garden thing I want to check today is this. This is my little compost bin, except I'm not actually making compost, I just want like the compost juice that comes out of it. I had this at home last year and was bringing it down in like a container, but although it's fine when it's in the bucket, when it comes out the bucket it's really smelly, and taking that down on my bike to come to the allotment wasn't very pleasant. So I've decided to move it here this year and just bring my kitchen scraps down with me and put them in when I come down. So this has been here a couple of weeks now, and now that it's getting hot, I'm hoping that it has started to brew itself some nice stinky juice. So should we check? Let's see if there's anything in it. Got my watering can and it's got a wee tap at the bottom. Come on, stinky juice. Yes! Stinky juice! Stinky juice. So it doesn't seem like a lot. There's only about, I don't know, maybe a cup and a half, 2 cups in there. But this is really potent stuff. You don't want to put too much of it on your flowers. So I am going to dilute this down with some water that I brought with me and put this on my snapdragon and hope that, not my snapdragon, my sweet pea, and hope that if I give them a little bit of a feed, they're gonna shoot up for me. Because they've been sitting at this stage for a really, really long time. So yeah. Now, I know that doesn't look like I'm giving them a very deep water, and I'm not. And the reason is there is no water on site at the allotment here. Everything that I put on the garden, I have to bring down in big tanks. Like this big water tank that you can see behind me. And because I came on my bicycle today, I can only bring 1 tank with me because it's really heavy and there's not that room on my bike. So I am only giving them a shallow water to make sure that everything gets a bit of a drink, but we are forecast rain for the rest of this week, so I'm not overly worried about it. In the summertime, I do have to bring down 3 or 4 of these to get the whole allotment done, which, to be honest, is a big pain in the ass, but there's not much I can do about it at all. So that's why they're not getting as much water as I would like to give them, but like I say, rain all week, so yeah, not so much of a problem. Do you see that? Can you see that behind us? They fixed my sign. Look at that! The council have come down and fixed my sign. It had all fallen over and broken, and now I have a fancy new one. Yay, plot 17. Thanks, council. Okay, so next I want to go ahead and get my stock planted. Is that what I'm planting? No, I'm not. My aster. I'm getting my aster planted. You can see on my now very crumpled up garden plan, because it's been in my pocket, that I'm going to have a block of stock, then a block of aster, then a block of rudbeckia. So my aster are going to go in the middle. So I have to go and figure out where that is and then plant this stock seed. Now, because this stuff at home obviously is bigger, I'm going to end up doing 4 rows for the stuff that I have at home, and then I'll seed into 4 rows. So I will have 2 rows of each flower, but they'll be quite spaced apart from each other. Because obviously I don't want to put the seedlings next to the ones that are already big, or the big ones will shade out the seedlings. No, the new seeds. Yeah, that makes sense. Anyway, I have to figure out where they're going to go. One, two, three. Okay, so I have marked out where these are going to go. Now, I did do that right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. I am going to dig a trench where I'm going to put these. I'm not going to plant along the whole trench though. I think I would be able to get 4 in each row, so I'll just do a little sprinkling of seeds at 4 different points. I am going to put a little bit of fertilizer in the bottom of my trench to help the seeds get along a bit once the roots get down that far. The seeds don't need to be this deep. I'm only digging this deep because I'm going to put a little bit of fertilizer in. For fertilizer, I just use this well-rotted cow manure. Okay, so I'm going to put my king-size apple blossom, which I didn't pick up. Try again. I'm going to put my king-size apple blossom in the front row, and then if it doesn't work, I might actually just plant an extra row of Rudbeckia here, because I feel like I'm going to like the Rudbeckia and I haven't got as much of it as I would like in the garden. So I'm going to put that there. And then it doesn't really upset me if it doesn't do anything. It has been raining here, so the soil, when I dig down, is actually still a little bit moist, but I am going to pre-moisten this now before I put the seed in, so that there's no chance that the seed's going to move about once I put it in. Water first. Usually when I put seeds in, I like to put them in groups of 3. It's kind of a Scottish tradition to do things in 3s. I say 1 for the soil, 1 for the crow, and 1 to grow. But because this apple blossom seed has done so badly and hasn't germinated at all at home, I'm just going to use up what's left in the packet, which is a lot, and hope that out of any of these, some of them are still viable seed. So next I will stick with the king size series and do these, which are the king size apricot. These guys look so similar. You see them? Now the only difference is that one is a tower series, which seems to get slightly taller, but only slightly. It's 75 centimeters as opposed to 70 centimeters. Let's put the bigger one next to my zinnia. So next we will do the Duchess apricot. Done. So my last task for today is to put in my Chinese forget-me-not, my Didiscus flower, which are going in here next to my sweet pea. So again, exactly the same. Mark it out, add a little bit of fertilizer, and then plant the seeds and label it. I put quite a few seeds in there for my Chinese forget-me-not because the germination has been so bad at home. It's a strange seed, it's almost like little fish flakes. And that is all my chores done for today. So I am going to give these guys a little bit of a drink with the water that I have left, which isn't very much, but as I say, rain's coming, so not that fussed about that. And then just wait. It's nice to see it filling up. It's really nice to see stuff going in, but it still feels like flowers are a really long way away. And although I'm really trying to learn from my mistakes last year, like putting my cosmos further apart, giving everything a bit more support, giving everything a bit more space, I still feel like I'm trying to put too much in. And it's hard because I want this to be a cut flower garden. You can't just grow masses of one flower. You need the flowers, you need the focal flowers and the fillers and some foliage. And so when I'm working on this garden, which is only 4 meters by 5 meters, it's really hard to try and figure out what's going to be good economy for space, basically, and what you can put in. Now, none of my spring flowers are in here. If you've been watching along, you'll know that I didn't know if I was going to be getting my allotment back this year, so I couldn't put any of my spring bulbs in. I didn't find out until February if I was getting this plot back, but now I have it for 4 years, which means all of my spring bulbs at home will be going into the garden next year for next spring. So another thing that I'm doing today is just taking note of what has to be in the ground when. So at home I know that my anemone this is the last week, I'm going to be getting anemone. My ranunculus are just coming on, my freesia are coming on, but they're coming on really quickly, so I don't think I'm going to have them for more than maybe another week, maybe 2. They're all coming at the same time. My tulip are starting to come up, but I think they would have come faster if I'd had them in a sunnier spot. Where they are in my garden is quite shady right now. So I'm kind of thinking, where is still bare? This patch where I've just right now put the aster in are quite bare. You know, my zinnia aren't going in until the beginning of next month, beginning of April. So maybe I can have my anemone and my freesia in now where I would be planting my zinnia. So they'd be coming to an end when I was needing to put my zinnia in the ground. So I'm kind of taking note now of what's blooming, when it's blooming, and when it's finishing, and when I need to put the other seeds in the ground to try and give me a better understanding of how I can do my garden for next year. So it seems really strange that I haven't got any flowers yet and I'm already planning next year's garden, but you do have to think when you're on such a small space, how can I be rotating what I'm growing in my garden to get the most efficient use of the garden and to make sure that I'm getting flowers from here, March, right through to hopefully November. So I am just going to quickly take note of what's in where, when I put it in, and what's dying at home and when that's finishing, and start making up my plan for next year as well. But if you want to follow along and see how this goes, what I get and what I do with the flowers that I get, then remember to hit the subscribe button below, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!